What up, what up, what up? So here about Super 10 people with another edition of Say What the Go-Go show right here on the Go-Go Royalty app and go-go royalty.com right here on the Bounce Beat Station. Each and every Friday, right at 6 o'clock, you get more dope people talking go-go, talking everything else that's going on in life. We got a special guest, as usual, from Courtland Johnson and his amazing friends, band, doing a little bit of everything. It's my main man, Courtland Johnson himself. What's going on, my man?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me.
That's what's up. Always a pleasure. Let's tell us a little bit about you and your amazing friends.
Yeah, well, like I said, I started in the area. Some people know me from my old band, which was the Courtland Experiment. We were kind of like a punk band doing things in the area, since about, I want to say about 2015 to 2020-ish. We're out here kind of making moves until about the pandemic. And then I reworked the band about a year ago to make it more of a solo project and put my name on it. Just said I'm Courtland Johnson. I'm gonna bring my friends, my homies. We're gonna rock it out. And it's kind of developed into this big thing now. Like I said, we just did a show at the Warner Theater. We're getting booked all over the place. We're getting booked at different types of venues. We've done jazz shows in the past 6 months. We've done shows with punk bands. We've done shows with go in the go-go community and things like that, working with other bands. So it's been a blessing to kind of just start a band from scratch, not really have any expectations for it, and then less than a year later, before you're even able to drop your music, to have such crazy demand, people booking us left and right. Haven't really even had time to be in the studio and, like I said, get the music out. People keep booking us and booking us. I'm doing shows, and like I said, we ended up, like I said, doing this great fundraiser show at the Warner Theater. So getting to play a 30-minute set of original music in my hometown at the Warner Theater was an awesome experience, and it's been up since then.
That's what's up. What part of DMV you from?
I'm PG County, like I said, born and raised in PG County, Maryland. Born in DC. Most of the gigs are in DC, so it's been a nice balance. The entire band basically is from the DMV, so we're all homegrown, and it's been great to. One of the reasons I wanted to change the band from a straight rock band to something a little bit more ambitious was I wanted to infuse that hometown flavor into the music. The last
Mm.
band, the big notable change is we didn't really have that go-go flavor in the Courtland Experiment, and that's been a big part of the identity of this new version of the band.
So why was it important for you to incorporate the hometown sound into what you do? Because punk rock has a home is just as much of a
Oh
homegrown
yeah.
sound as go-go is. And a lot of people don't know that. And mixing the two, why did you feel like you had to add the go-go sound to what you was already doing?
It's almost kind of what you just alluded to, because that was only half the story. Punk rock is only half of my story. I love so many genres, and growing up here in the DMV in Chocolate City, people who grew up here know that the dominant music genre here is go-go and like hip hop and soul and things like that. So as much as I love to, give the representation to like the Bad Brain side of the roots of DC and that punk roots, and give them that raw energy, I also wanted to infuse the other side of DC, the other side of my inspirations and roots. When I grew up, I wasn't really listening to that many rock bands when I was growing up in like middle school and stuff. I was listening to hip hop and go-go, a lot of that TCB, CCB, that bounce beat stuff. That's really was a great inspiration. So it was really fun to finally, over the years, be able to incorporate that into my music really organically, and to try to give go-go some just new wrinkles, because it's
Mm.
go-go is always continually evolving, and working with other artists in the area, evolving the sound, not to mention trying to, pay homage to the classics, putting some Chuck Brown style, just call and response, some bounce stuff, some, just some stuff that pays homage to the sounds of go-go, because I really want to make that sound more mainstream. As I'm sure many people want to continue to branch go-go out and make sure, like, when I talk to my friends in New York City, it's not a foreign concept to them. It's still weird to me in the year 2025, outside of DC, that go-go is still not bigger. It's still, it's getting out there, and a lot of people have moved out the DMV, are doing great work being ambassadors of the sound, but just in the mainstream sense musically, it's still being not as mainstream as I feel like it should be.
Mm. Part of the reason it's not as mainstream as many of us think it should be is because what I've heard is because we as urban community with urban homegrown sound are trying to protect go-go from the colonization of the music. Looking at hip hop and seeing how hip hop started off as kind of a more pure genre of music that was just about the artistry and turning it into like this gangster rap and this violent stuff that really didn't represent everything that urban culture was or is. Go-go never really ingratiated itself with mainstream music to protect itself from it being turned into something it's not. And I feel like that's important to keep ownership of what your music is while still learning how to expand it and teach others what this music is so others can learn how to promote it, how to market it, how to produce it so it can be more sustainable outside of the DMV to people that's never heard of it or may have heard some version of it or heard one or two songs 45 years ago. Because when I talk to people from outside of the DMV about go go and what songs you know, all they know is the butt.
Yeah.
And that was 40 years ago. And it's
Yeah.
like, you don't know any other music between 1984 and 2025. And I believe that's a part of the reason why it's not as big as it was growing to be during the 80s with EU and Treble Funk doing original music, being on labels, having tours internationally, is because even with EU and Treble Funk, a lot of people from the go community was kind of like going on them because like, yo, you ain't go-go no more. Like you out here doing stuff all over the world. And, you know what I'm saying? You ain't here in the DMV. You ain't you ain't go-go no more. And what I've heard from some stories is that part of that was the reason why they stopped touring because their love for go-go and want to be accepted in the go-go community was more important than having international tours and building their name up beyond DMV. So I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that story a few times that the need to be accepted by the go-go community and be here locally performing for go-go fans where it started is what you need to do to be a part of the go-go community. I guess to a lot of go-go bands, a lot of go-go performers, being in the go-go community is more important than being just a musician spreading their art to as many people as possible.
It's certainly a delicate balance, and like I said, I certainly understand wanting to keep the purity of the art form, homegrown, and to keep it in the community for sure. I think that is vitally important, and that's kind of what I mentioned when I did another interview this week, where I kind of talked about there. That's why there's enough bands where I feel like now there's somebody like me can take swings like that because I'm kind of an outsider in the community. I was a little worried to even do the go-go thing because of what you just talked about, what we just talked about, the purity of the go-go community and the purist. And when you do something different and you really kind of do something crazy with it, that, that's not go-go, or that might, what I'm saying, not be accepted as true go-go or what it is. So I was really surprised about how positive the outpouring was from the go-go community so far with the two go-go songs we made so far. And like I said,
Mm.
putting go-go flavor in other songs, but it really convinced me to lean into it and to really do some crazier things, like the latest song we have that we just put on YouTube, the live version where we played at the Pie Shop in DC last month, where I call it the Punk Bounce, which is basically like a Bad Brain style, really up tempo punk song that goes into like a slow bounce and then goes back and forth to like some bounce beat stuff. And I just think it's really important to do something crazy because I want to do things that I haven't heard basically done in go-go, because there are a ton of great bands that are homegrown that stay in the community, as we just said, that do that. That do that traditional sound, that you can find all types of go-go bands that are consistently rocking in the city, doing their thing, having that traditional sound if that's what you want. So I think it's great that we have all these great go-go bands that stay homegrown in the city, but at the same time, I would like to take some bigger swings with the music. And you don't hit with every swing, but I would like to just take some ambitious swings with go-go and do something different with it. Like I said, just some things that I haven't heard with it, and some things that I think might be able to, get it to a place where it's a little bit more mainstream, where a little bit more people are curious. People who haven't heard go-go, I want them to be go-go curious now after they hear the
Mm-hmm.
song, or I want them to be asking, okay, who is New Impressions, who is Reaction, who are these bands? I want them to go do some homework. I want
Mm-hmm.
to have my music be able to uplift the go-go community in that way. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons it's been a positive response. People kind of see the vision, and there are other bands doing those traditional things, so it gives me more freedom to operate outside that box.
I think the go-go community is made up of two separate groups. You have the old people, the old people that want to keep it what it was in the 80s and 90s, and then the newer generation who is open to expanding it beyond what originally was. So going beyond what's here in the DMV and going beyond just a local band playing for local crowds. Um, to me, it's about just focusing on your music, what you do for you as an artist, and from a business standpoint, just focusing on those who want to do that type of business. Because trying to appease all of the go-go community is what a lot of bands failing to do, what makes it frustrating, and then in some situations makes bands not want to play no more because you're too busy trying to please the old heads who are the gatekeepers, as opposed to just being a musician and doing music. And I tell bands all the time, like, don't worry about what the go-go community is saying. Worry about what you do as an artist and being true to what you do, and finding those people who can relate to that. And that's with music in general. But for some reason, the go-go community wants to kind of just stay in one lane. And the lane has opened up, and it took a while for it to open up and embrace the bounce beat. Because even when the bounce beat first came out, a lot of old folks
Mm-hmm.
that was like, "That's not go-go. I don't know what that mess is." And it took me time to embrace it, not because it was something new, because there wasn't any bounce beat that actually, to me, sounded like good music. Not go-go, just good
Mm-hmm.
music in general. It just sounded like a lot of noise to me. But the new impressions and reactions and the TCBs and things of that nature, to me, have evolved to be more musicians
Mm-hmm.
and be able to do bounce beat while still being good musicians now. But a lot of bands fell off because they weren't able to grow into that. And growing into that is growing as a band or as an artist, as a creative. It takes time. It takes to understand your craft. It also takes for people who know the music and know the business to help you grow your sound and help you develop your craft. If I'm playing basketball, I can go to the court every day with a ball, but that don't mean I'm really going to reach my potential because I don't have the coaches and trainers to help me understand what to do with the ball. And I think with go-go, we're missing out on those people who are really helping to teach not only the go-go sound, but music in general, to learn how to use that sound and create good music, and then learn the business to learn how to put that good music in places that go-go has never been before. Because there's too many bands that just you put some musicians together, you learn a couple of covers, and you find a stage to go do it on. And beyond that, from a business standpoint, making money standpoint, or just making sure that my craft and my art reaches as many people as possible, that aspect, not enough bands, like you said, are on that level to want to push it that way. In what ways is you and your band trying to push it beyond just the local DMV scene?
Well, like I said, I just have greater ambitions for like the scope of my music. Again, like I said, this whole project, this album that I made is for the DMV. That's why we say we do it for the city in one of the songs, and like that's one of the taglines in the mission statement for the project. So it's a very DC, but at the same time, it mixes that DC sound with other sounds. So that's why has this broad appeal, and that's been the special part about it. So just branching out, I want to just take the sound further, like I said, outside of DC, and to do more ambitious things with the go-go sound going forward and mixing it in different ways. Like I said, it's been very fun. And I think it's been great having a smaller band. I know in the go-go community, I think one thing that makes it difficult for some of the bands is the bands are really big. And I mean, just my personal opinion as somebody who's played in a couple go-go bands over the years and things like that, I think some of the bands really need to trim some of the fat off of the members. Like I think it's just too many members in some of these bands. And as somebody who operates and manages a band, I can tell you how difficult it is to manage a band of even 3 people. So when you have 13 people, 10 people in an operation, you're splitting money, you're managing personalities and schedules. That can become a nightmare, and it really can make taking your band to the next level very, very difficult. So I'm very glad that I have like a lean kind of 5 piece band, and that not having a huge personnel. I want to be able to get that big go-go sound. I need the keys, I need some extra percussion outside of my drums to give it that full go-go identity. But outside of that, I want to keep it lean. I want to keep the team excited, the team streamlined, and the operation still keeping the vibes good. That's how we come up with ideas. That's how we're able to continue to evolve the sound. We did in September, we did the Go-Go Punk concert at the Pocket in DC. And that's a whole concert of other bands that are doing the same thing, trying to push the boundaries of go-go. Shout out to Tone P and the Carry Out. They've been doing it for a minute. The Hugh Band, they're on tour. Those are my homies. They're doing great things. They're just coming back from New York. They're about to come back
Yeah.
home. So yeah, shout out to them. There was Uncle Mary, Breezy Supreme. So like, I'm not the only artist who's doing this, trying to branch out and evolve the sound and take it, to a bigger place. And at the same time, I want to again continue to honor the old heads, as you alluded to before, who want the purists. Like I said, I'll give you a little something, and I want to, but at the same time, you'll always have your Chuck Brown, you'll always have your, said like you said,
Mm.
your Junkyard, your EU, you'll have that there. That sound's always going to be there. I think it's for someone like me to be more experimental. That was kind of my whole thing, is to mix and blend these different genres. So I'm definitely a punk rocker at heart, but again, the album has funk songs, it's got a reggae song, it's got soul. It kind of takes you all over the spectrum, and that's a tricky thing, marketing in itself, because again, staying in a lane, especially in the Spotify playlist kind of era of music, has been playing it safe is really where a lot of artists are going. It's playing it safe within a sound, playing it safe within a genre, so you can be charted on playlists with these type of people, and just from a marketing standpoint. But I kind of want to zag while everybody's zigging in the industry, and really give them kind of an old school throwback of this is an album. I'm not going to give you just a bunch of little tiny EPs and 2-minute singles and TikTok type stuff. I want to paint a full picture. I want to paint an album, that tells a
Mm.
story, that takes you places, that represents a lot of different sounds. So we're just gonna go old school. We're very built this identity of an old school band. We're very much of a throwback band. I think maybe that's why the old heads respect us too, because we give them that old school. We don't use backing tracks. We don't really, we just show up and we rock. We have all organic sound. We kind of have a Jimmy. I've been compared to kind of like a Jimi Hendrix, Carlos Santana experience, and to give you, with a little DM with a little mumbo sauce on it. That's all.
What's crazy. I live right across the street from the Pocket.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, we were just up there rocking there, and I know Hugh Band and them, they're gonna be up there the 16th for another Go Go Punk concert. So that'll be cool. I don't know if I'll be in town for that, but it'll definitely support those guys. I really enjoy what they do, and like I said, they're doing the same thing. Like I said, they're more metal and hardcore, but like I said,
Mm.
putting that go go sound into different genres and pushing it into something unique with original music. I feel like that's what it's about. And you touched on
Yeah.
that earlier too. Not enough original music. People really settle into covers, and covers are cool. Covers are cool. You want to make your money. You want to get, people familiar with you. You want to get the crowd going. But I think, yes, the community has over the years leaned way too much into covers and reinventing other people's songs rather than making our own hits. With all the talented
Mm.
musicians and brains that we have in the DMV, I think we could have more original music that breaks out.
I feel you. I've definitely been talking to a lot of bands about the concept of more original music. And I've heard, like you said, like they play what people know, which is fine. We started out as a top 40 genre of music where Chuck Brown would, I'm saying, whatever was hot on the radio, that's what we would play until Chuck Brown started making original music. And then there's very few covers that Chuck Brown or EU or Treble Funk or Red Essence would play. So they kept with the cover aspect because that's where we started at. But like you said, it didn't. It's not the whole show just covers. Like you come in and because basically to me, go go people who do covers is not you're a band, you play music and it's go-go inspired because you kind of add the congos and other percussions to the cover, but it's not a go-go show. It's more just a cabaret. You can go
Yeah,
to a wedding. You can go to a wedding and get a band to play covers. That don't mean it's a go-go.
exactly. You
Or, you know what
preaching
I'm
to the
saying?
choir.
Yeah,
Like I
and
said,
it's like it's a lot of bands who's like, oh yeah, we just do what people what people already know. But the crazy thing is that everybody who is a go-go fan became a go-go fan not because of a song that the go-go band played that you knew.
hmm
It's because the go-go band sounded good.
yep. So it was the go go part of it that called people, not the cover. You know
Yeah.
what they were playing, and that's what people don't really understand. And I've been a big opinions on this because I'm known for a person that doesn't like to take requests. You know, every once in a while you'll be at one of those longer shows. They'll be like, play this, and I'll be like, no. And I ain't trying to be too hostile, but it's like this ain't that type of show. This ain't that type of
uh,
band. And what I've learned, especially over this past year, doing all original music that got me all the way to the Warner Theater and headline in different places, is well, you know, without even any music out for people to stream, is the audience. I'm firmly believe Rick Rubin when he says this now is like the audience does not know what they want. They do not know what they want.
mm,
They think they know what they want, but then you play something they never heard before, they might love
mm,
it. You know what I'm saying? You have to give them the chance to love it. You know,
yeah,
you have to take that swing because the audience, especially when you're doing something original that they haven't heard before, they don't know that they don't like it. They don't know they don't like it.
mm,
So if you keep playing covers for them, they're going to stay in their comfort zone, but you won't
yeah,
really be able to grab them. But you know, over the
yeah,
past year, I've cut out all the covers of our sets. I don't need them anymore. I've seen the response to the originals, and I want to keep spreading those songs and growing those instead of somebody else's song, just to get their attention. Now we've got their attention. So now, like, that was a big part of the Warner Theater gig and the last couple of gigs was like, I think we could cut all the covers. I got 45 minutes of original music that we could just we could run through and
yeah,
and make it happen. So why are we doing covers? Every cover that I put in the set is a original song I have to cut that I don't get to promote, that people don't get to hear. So that's how I started looking
mm,
at it. Like, why am I putting these covers promoting somebody else's songs when I have my own songs to promote that people are enjoying? They just didn't know it because they never heard it before. And so they had
yeah.
a chance.
Because it's interesting that if you ask somebody to list their top 10 favorite songs of all time, at some every one of those songs at one point never existed, but it's your all-time favorite song. So we can't say that, oh, they won't like original music because your top 10 favorite songs are original music. Even if you kind of look at the go-go space, like when we think about the best go-go songs, they're not covers. Is
Yeah.
is sardines and pork and beans, is work the walls and stuff like that. That's original, and every band that has an original song can always do a show anywhere and just have their playlist of original music that everybody knows and loves. The ones that we all love and sing along to, it's all the originals. So if you a band and you want to be on a level of a Junkyard, Red Essence, EU, you got to have that music that is specific to your band. Anybody can do Boots on the Ground. You can listen to a go-go version of Boots on the Ground and not know what band it is because it's Boots on the Ground.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear Spotlight on the Butt Cheeks, when you hear the different original songs, not original in the sense of, I think what kind of gets people confused is that when you say original music, they're thinking like the industry structured verse hook. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But in go-go, we
Yeah.
rarely do verse hook songs. And but it's crazy how much people don't even realize that. The majority of go-go is just short, repetitive phrases.
Yeah.
You repeat one little phrase, and then you repeat another little phrase. You repeat one phrase for like eight measures, and then you repeat another phrase for eight measures, and repeat another phrase for eight measures, and then you hold it for 16 measures, and you start all the way over and do it again.
Yeah. It's about the
It's
ride. Like, it's the groove, man. It's like,
Yeah, that's all it is. You can just even like I said, spotlight on the butt cheeks. Spotlight on the butt cheeks is just put the spotlight on the butt cheeks. Put the spotlight on the butt cheeks.
yeah, it
Put the
don't need to be
spotlight
rocket
on the
science.
butt. Yeah, it just put the spotlight on the. It's not rocket science, and you can't tell me that if you're a musician and creative, you can't come up with just a short little phrase or listen to other music and be inspired by something someone says in another song and come up with just a bunch of short 4 word, 6 word phrases that should repeat over a couple of measures and make a song. Because literally 80% of go-go is just that. You can think of any band, mostly any song they've done, and you'll hear that same kind of format. You might throw a 16 in here, a 16 in this song, but the majority, 80% of go-go is short, repetitive phrases. And it's just whatever. If you can put a bunch of short, repetitive phrases together that people can remember and sing along to, boom, you got it. To a cranking ass beat, bam, you good.
Yeah, that's how we got that Helly Hendrix song. Like I said, that's it. That's pretty much the formula to the first go-go song that I made for this band. Where it's like it's
And I
simple.
don't,
It's like call and response. It's a few phrases repeated over time. It's like long. That's what people are thinking too. Where it's like, you really gonna put out a 6 minute single? Like it's go-go. Like that's
yeah,
like
that's
part of
there's a
go-go
lot
is
of
like
six
said,
minute.
yeah, it's like it's repetitive. It's going to be long. This wasn't cut for the radio. This is
Mm,
cut for DC. This is cut for go-go
yeah,
people. This was for home. And the people from home will understand when they see 6 minutes, like this is a real go-go song. It's got some phases.
mm,
It's going to repeat. It's going to come back. We're going to slow
yeah.
bounce it. We're going to come back. We're going, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do some things
Mm.
with it. So yeah,
You're gonna
like
let the beat ride for about 16
yeah,
measures or,
we're going,
and
yep,
all that.
let the instrumentation talk to you, let the people groove, give it some space to breathe, even though it's like it's
Yeah.
high energy and it's like that's it. And then people are asking me that too, where it's like the songwriting process where yeah, some songs might have a lyrical journey and are more intricate and tell a story, but yeah, not every song has to be rocket science, like we just said before.
It
It
doesn't.
could just be a groove, it could just be a couple phrases, and it could just be, something really, really simple that it could be your best idea sometimes. Sometimes people overthink it, man, when it comes to writing
They
songs.
do.
And let
And
the song
I don't think that Gogo even understands how simple Gogo is. But again, the Go-Go bands, any Go-Go band that came out in the 2000s, you listened to Go-Go in the 90s. So you became a Go-Go fan listening to these songs, but at no point as a creative or a musician did you ever pick up on that aspect of what made Go-Go to you worth listening to. And I call myself the mad scientist because I don't, when I'm listening to music, especially go-go music, as much as I love go-go and enjoy listening to it, I'm always analyzing go-go. And that's how I picked up when I was like, I'm listening to songs and trying to figure out why do I really like this? What is really making me or people in general, especially when I'm at like shows and stuff like that. And I'm kind of, instead of watching the band and enjoying the band, I'm watching the crowd to see how the crowd is reacting, to see, because I'm curious, like, what is it about this song or about this band that's making people dance? And when I'm watching the crowd, I'm hearing people sing along,
Mhm,
and they love to sing along, and it's easy to sing along to
mhm.
when you listen to a song on the radio or industry song. Which part do you know first? It's
Yeah,
usually the hook.
yeah,
It's the
that's
hook because that's the one
mhm,
that's a short phrases or a short part that gets repeated.
mhm. Yeah, it's
Uh,
very simple. That's songwriting 101. Like I said, that's for a funk song that's so popular. That's it. That was my philosophy writing that song was like catchy hook. This is the one where I was thinking about I think it was Nile Rodgers from Chic when he was talking about their songwriting where he was like you just hit him with the hook first, like where it's like
mm,
freak out, boom, that's how the song starts. Like it just starts with a hook,
mm,
like celebrate good time. Like those songs just boom, they just hit you, and you just have
yeah.
that hook that's just gets stuck in your head, and you don't waste time getting to it, and like you said, you repeat it, you keep it simple, and that's whenever we play that song, by the time we are ending that song, I can hear people in the crowd singing it back to us, a song that they
Mm,
haven't heard until 3 minutes ago, until it started, they ain't know the words, they
yeah.
never heard it before, but it's that catchy and it's that simple that about it 3 minutes later, as we're doing the breakdown at the end of the song, I'm hearing everybody sing the lyrics back to us, and that's the key. You got to keep it simple, you got to not overthink it, you give them a nice funky groove, you give them a nice hunky, funky, lyrics, catchy. And yeah, like I say again, don't overthink it. And I think I have a theory
Mm,
on why some of the go-go bands do it, because like you said, go-go is a lot simpler than a lot of people make it, but there are a lot of really, really heavy hitting, really high level musicians playing it. A lot of those big church guys and guys who are really have
mhm,
really, really big chops and from my experience, have some big egos as well to go along with those chops. And they feel like they have something to prove rather than just making the best songs. And the best song might not be you showing off your amazing chops, for that moment. It might just be holding down something simple. But I feel like, again, with those big groups with a lot of egos, a lot of people who feel like they might be above this, or they're too good for that, or it causes a little bit of friction in the bands instead of just like, let's just make the best song we can.
Mm. Just stick to the basic format. Find from the musical standpoint. Let's put together something that's gonna crank. Drums, what the keyboard's gonna do, what the guitar's gonna do, all that good stuff. And just find a bunch of catchy, funky phrases that people, when they hear it, it's gonna be easy for them. It's gonna one, they're gonna like it. It's gonna be catchy. They're gonna like it. And easy to repeat, easy to remember. Because you said by the time the song is over, if it's cranking and the phrases are catchy and sound good and easy to repeat and relatable, it's something that when I say it, it's not just me repeating the song, it's me speaking about me. So if you, like I said, doing spotlight on the butt cheeks, it's gonna be the girl with the fat butt that wants spotlight on her butt cheeks. That's gonna be the main one repeating it because hey, that's me. I want spotlight on butt cheeks. Or I want to see a spotlight on some butt cheeks. So it makes it easy for people to catch on because it's catchy, they can relate to it, it's fun, it's easy to remember, and the music part is cranking. And it's not rocket science. But so people are overthinking it and to the point where it's like, oh, this is too hard to make go-go music. But you've listened to it all your life and still haven't figured out how it's been made. Like I said, I don't even think that go-go bands who've mastered it really understand what they're doing. It's like this is what we do, why would we do this, or it's like somebody that it's like somebody like we're talking about basketball, like people that can just hoop. You don't know, like I would say Allen Iverson can like roll out of bed and do 40. Allen Iverson is the type of athlete that he never had to really be taught how to be an athlete. It was just natural to him. So if you have bands who create go-go with these, you know what I'm saying, phrases and things of that nature and know how to do it, but are so good at it that they don't even really have to think about what it took to do it. All right, we're just gonna say this, we're gonna say that, we're gonna put a pocket here, and we're gonna do that, and before you know it, they got some crank shit and don't even realize how they went about making it. They were just like, my creative brain just thought about this, so let's do this.
Happens all the time. Like, honestly, like I said, that's how a lot of songs come together. Again, when you're not overthinking it, or it's like me and the homies will get together for a jam session. We might not even be trying to do that particular thing at the time. We might just be messing around,
Mhm.
having a good time, stumble across a groove that works, and then then work backwards from there, like you said, because like I don't even sure how we got here, but this is amazing. And then
Yeah,
and now I'll have to break it down later. What are you playing? What am I playing?
yeah,
How are we? How did this,
yeah.
but like that's the beauty of it, as I always keep saying, is like just don't overthink it. Let the songs write themselves. And if like,
Mm.
and I think there's not enough people having fun in music anymore. I want to make music fun again. Like it just seems like a lot of people are in it for the money. They're in it for, these goals, and it's just very serious, and people are just like stressed and they're serious. And I understand it's stressful running a band. I manage the band and everything too. So like I understand the business end and things like that. But at the end of the day, I'm getting paid money to play my songs at places. I show up with my friends. I get paid money to have a great time. I love playing my songs in front of people.
Mm.
It's different than covers. I don't get told what to play. I don't get told, how to play it. I get to show up. I get to be my own boss. I get to have a great time. I get to connect with people and grow our audience, at these great places every night. These experiences is taking me to different cities, New York City, and having these great experiences. So, I mean, I just have nothing to complain about, really. Like I said, it's beautiful to be on this journey, to be able to really be embraced and be able to, like I said, share my original music. And man, I'm just loving it. I'm loving the journey.
That's what's up. So you remember your first experience with go-go?
Man, first experience with go-go was a Northeast Groovers cassette tape when I was like 8 years old or something. Like that was it. Like from then it was like, I love this, man. I grew up, right on the outskirts of DC. And Yeah, that was my earliest memories was loving just go-go. Like I love go-go, man. And I grew up, with the older heads looking out for me in the community. And that's what all the people were into, man. Everybody in the hood was into the go-go, man. So that was a formative sound. Like I said, that and like a lot of hip hop, early hip hop. I love hip hop as well. I just don't be rapping. It's a lot of other rappers. There's enough rappers out there. I'm gonna let the
Uh-huh.
MCs hold it down. I'm gonna do my rock thing, but yeah, I
You
still have a
remember
great.
what you remember what Groover's table was? Around what time? Like you said, 8 years old. Like around what time
This would be like
was
the
this?
90s. It would be like it's probably be like 90 between like man, I don't even know if I was 8 yet, man. I could have been between like 5. It could be between like 95 and like 98 or like
Okay.
99. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
so
I don't remember
that's
which one. I don't have it
that
anymore.
Groover's. I feel
Yeah.
you. Like 90, that mid 90s
Yeah.
Groover's, mid 90s go-go in general.
Yeah, yeah, just so you get the feel. Yeah,
Woo!
90s go-go. Yeah, so it's like
I
that's
feel you.
when I was a kid and growing up. So, and
Whose
yeah,
tape was it?
it was my brother's tape. I think it was. It was like my brother's tape or something like that. And I just remember he gave me that Joan. That was it. Like I said, that was one of the first like pieces of media that I had that was like mine. And I was like, yeah, put that Joan the Walkman, and it was over. It was like from
That's
then.
it's
And
always the older brothers that's putting us on to do. When you have older siblings, it's always good to have older siblings because they expose us to a lot of stuff. 'Cause my experience was the same thing. I had a same around the same age, 5 years old. I had an older brother. It was back in 1985 though, and he had a whole shoebox full of go-go tapes, and he would play them when he at home and mom's gone. He'll blast it through the house, but then when he's gone and mom's gone, then I'm the one sneaking in there, getting the tapes and blasting them and dubbing them for myself. I'll take his tapes and my mother bought me a boom box, a dual cassette boom box, and with blank tapes, so I'll record stuff off the radio, but then I'll take my brother's tapes and dub his so he can keep his and don't know that I use his and I got my own on myself and I was all good. So there's always a lot of times it's always the older siblings, maybe uncles, cousins, something like that that put us on the go-go. And that's the best way to keep any genre of music or anything going is to be we have to be the ones who pass it down to the younger generation so that they even one know it exists to then two know it exists, love it, and then be inspired to not only do it but make it their own. And we haven't done that enough as old heads because I think we're so busy trying to hold on to go-go for ourselves um, that we make go-go seem like a old people's genre of music. So I have a friend that's 35 and I was playing some go-go, and she was like, and I was like, "What go-go bands? You go to the go-go?" No, I actually asked her to come be on my show. So you should come be on my show. She was like, "I don't listen to go-go." Like, how are you from the DMV and don't listen to
yeah.
go-go? She was like, "Cause that's my father's music."
Oh man, I ain't never heard that
And
one.
yeah, I'm like, so you don't like go-go? And I understand because you know what I'm saying we growing up, me growing up, my mom's and them listen to Motown and stuff like that, and that was the
Yeah.
old people music. So we didn't understand. I didn't understand how good Motown and all that was during that time until I got older and appreciated the music more. But yeah, when we was kids, we didn't want to do what our fathers and mothers did. Like, ew, get that Motown stuff away from me. And she's felt that way about her dad, even though she's now 35. That's just something she's always believed as a kid through now 30 some years old. Um, but if we had the bounce speed, if we embrace bounce speed and allowed that to be the younger person's style of music, just like the same way we had the boom bap hip hop, and now we got gangster rap and all this other type of rap. Now we as older folks might not like it, but you know what? That's what the kids like, and that's what keeps hip hop around and keeps money flowing through the music and allows people who even don't do it full time anymore to still make money because you can still be engaged because you're now engaging the next generation. I think the old heads don't embrace the new generation because I feel like if you embrace the new generation, that means you're saying that you're too old for it now. They say those who can do, those who can't coach. So when you decide to start coaching, that means you can't do it anymore. You can't play anymore, or even as a fan, this is not for me anymore. And we got a lot of people who still go to the go-go and 50 something, 60 years old. fly, got the madness,
Hmm.
everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's cool that you still love to do it, but understand that yes, I still love it. Yes, I still be a part of it, but yes, I am still old, and certain aspects of what I love need to be passed on to my kids and stuff like that. And it's even an issue. I have a friend, she has a daughter that's 9 now, and she's like, I really want my daughter to love go-go, but it's no kid-friendly go-go. Yeah,
Yeah,
because we
but
didn't
say
make
yeah,
we
that's
didn't
true.
make kid-friendly go-go in the 90s. I was like, if you get her some go-go, it's gonna be 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some 80s EU and treble funk. But she's like, I mean, her daughter doesn't. You would think that a 9-year-old wouldn't want to hear 80s go-go.
yeah, there needs to be something for everyone. That just brought me
Mm.
to like my favorite part about this journey, especially recently, the past few string of shows that we played, because it really bridged all those audiences together. And that's why I think it's important that I put this album out and for the community, because what we realized doing a blues gig at the Warner Theater and then doing a punk show at Punk Black, doing a punk festival, and then doing the Pocket with the go-go community and doing all those shows back to back to back. When we did our show right after that at the pie shop, we had all people from all three of those audiences have followed us to the pie shop to come to that show. So what we ended up having was a mix of 60 and up blues people, who are there, who like the blues gigs, who like the old school Chuck Brown stuff, who like the old school 55, the OGs. We also had punk scene kids who followed us from Punk Black. So like a younger, college, high school age kids, white kids, not what you would typically see at a go-go at all, type
Uh,
kids. Same with the older heads, like even the older heads that wouldn't normally be at a go-go, that would be at different types of shows. Then we also had the go-go people from the go-go community, because we did the go-go punk show at the Pocket. So we also have the people from the go-go community who come for specifically the go-go. But what's beautiful about that, when I look out at the audience and when we're rocking and we drop in the slow bounce and all that, to watch all three of those crowds vibe together in the same space. And I think that's what's really important, is what we kind of just talked about, to bridge the generational divide, to bridge the musical divide, to make go-go for everyone, to make go-go music for a 9-year-old that is appropriate, but also cranks. It is not lame, Will Smith type rap to them. It's something that is like,
yeah, Will Smith raps us fine. There's nothing wrong with Will
no, I'm
Smith.
saying,
I
but
think,
to perceived for a
but
kid, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
how they would
yeah.
feel that is lame. I'm not saying Will
We
Smith don't
don't
got
need like
bars. It wasn't a stray for Will, but I'm just
uh,
saying,
we don't need like ABC songs and Pop Goes the
yeah, that's what
Weasel
I'm
songs.
saying.
And I think when people talk about like we need something for the kids, or when I say we need something for the kids, I'm also look at like teens and older. Like if your kid is 7, 8 years old, yeah, it's fine if they listen to go go. But if we can get like a go go kids CD with like nursery rhymes and stuff like that, yeah, that'd be wonderful. And it definitely be good marketing because I worked with kids in the daycare space, and one thing I always made sure we had was music in the classroom. So if you want to make a go-go CD with all the classic kid songs, hey, that'd be dope for the kids to listen to in the
Sounds like a great
classroom.
idea.
Yeah, it's definitely I've been wanting to do that for a while, um, but like the main go-go for the quote unquote kids, my definition of kids is like 14 to 24. So if you can kind of reach that, and I kind of did some research and was kind of like, okay, well, we had like Bow Wow and Lil Romeo, and we had B2K and like other young teen artists. So like what were they talking about for us and our parents to allow us as kids to listen to other kid performers? But they weren't talking about going to school, get your grades going, and school is cool. No, they was talking about a lot of the stuff that everybody else was talking about, just not as vulgar and violent. It was still like I got cars, I got clothes, I got bling, and this is like 13-year-old Bow Wow, and we loved it. It wasn't violent, it wasn't vulgar, it was fun music. So when I think about it from that sense, and it's a couple young like teen go-go bands, teen early 20 go-go bands that's trying to figure it out. How do we get the youth of our generation to follow us and be fans of us without utilizing the vulgar, you know what I'm saying, violent aspect of hip hop? And if you know music, and it can be done.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's possible. Again, like I said, again, the success we've had, these songs, my songs aren't particularly vulgar, so I don't pretend to be a gangster out here in the streets or, whatever, whatever's going on, man. Like, and I think, again, if the music is good enough, if it really connects, especially I've seen with like the punk songs and the more up tempo stuff, you can connect with the hearts of the youth. Again, I'm a little older too. People think I'm younger, but I'm 35 myself. So like, I've been around the block and seeing the younger audience, really embrace. Because again, I'm not of the TikTok generation and of the, some of the more new kind of waves of stuff, but to see the response, you definitely can win over that younger audience and get them to embrace the go-go sound. Again, having young white kids who have never been at a go-go come up to us after the show and, asking questions. They're ready to do their homework. They're like, this is cool, man. And now again, having them interested in the community and then vice versa, having them in a space with authentically go-go people so they feel accepted in that space, and then everybody feels accepted in such a interesting space where, with so many different blends of fans, I think has been very, very cool. So it's just continue that journey again, like making great songs that connect people of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all genres. Basically, if we're short of a Nazi, you're welcome at our show. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hey, the Nazis can party too. Just keep that Nazi stuff at the door.
yeah, I don't think you're going. I don't know. I don't know how comfortable you're going to be at our show. It's a lot of diversity, and again, because we have that big mix of fans, I take it very
uh,
seriously to keep our fans safe from any discrimination, especially we have gay fans, trans fans, younger, like you said, younger fans, white fans that are in spaces, that are, go-go that they might not feel, have felt comfortable being in before, to dip
yeah,
their toes in a little bit of culture that they might have not felt they were welcome to. And to, again, kind
mhm,
of show people that go-go is for everybody. It's, it's from
yeah,
the city. The heart is here, but the music is awesome and it could touch anybody if you, give them opportunity.
that's what's up. Where can we find you at on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Courtland DMV. You can find me on YouTube. We got a new YouTube page that has some of the live performances I was just talking about from the last couple of months. That's Courtland Johnson's. You can look up Courtland DMV on YouTube as well and find all of that stuff. We'll have new music coming out this month. We have a lot of songs in the chamber. And yeah, we're just very excited to finally get some of these new go-go songs out to the streets. People have been hounding me. Y'all have been on my ass. I promise you guys, I've been in the studio working very hard to get these songs out to the community, and to thank everybody just for the response and to showing up at these shows and to keep showing us so much love, and to really, I don't know, view me as somebody who's really pushing the sound forward is an honor. And I just want to, do the city proud. And, like I said, you're not going to please everybody, but at the same time, we're just trying to put our best foot forward and to, like I said, make an album and do a rollout and to have events that, are great for the community and that represent DC in a way that I feel like is worthy of the city of Chocolate City, the most powerful city in the world.
That's what's up. So make sure y'all follow Courtland DMV on Instagram. Check out the YouTube for all the good music. If you trying to cut a check, put them on the show. Definitely hit them up so we get all this good go-go, punk, funk, rock. What else we got? Reggae on the album. What else you say you got?
Yeah, it's a little bit everything. Like I say, a little reggae, like I say, a lot of like alternative rock, a little indie rock, a little things like that. We do have some hip hop too. I got some features, so I've been working with some rappers in the area. Shout out to my homie Clifford Cartel. He's got a great hip hop feature. So we got some rap. Just because I ain't rapping, don't mean we ain't gonna have some rap. I had to pull out my hip hop roots, but I'm gonna let the MCs handle the bars and give them a little, like I said, maybe a little Linkin Park kind of style, Jay-Z kind of thing going on.
Mm,
Give people some different flavors, but I'm just here to continue to do the city proud, man. Y'all continue to support me. So, like I said, we're a band of the people. I'm a man of the people. Wherever you guys want to see me play, I'm going to play, man. Like I said, wherever they send a check, if it's for the city, then I'm doing it, man. So, like I said, for the community, again, we're doing fundraisers too. So, it's not even all about the check. Like, I'm not a capitalist. I'm going to keep it real. Like I said, I'm running a business. So, for sure, like, yeah, I mean, I'm taking money for my services, but at the same time, like I said, we did the fundraiser at Warner Theater for homeless veterans and disabled veterans and things like that. So if there's a good cause, we will also rock out for that too. So tap in. Like I said, we are most exciting bands that you can book, and I stamp that.
That's what's up. Catch Say What the Go-Go show right here on Go-Go Royalty each and every Friday at 6 p.m. If you don't catch it at 6, you can catch it on Go-Go Royalty YouTube channel the following day. If you want to be on and talk about Go-Go, your views on how you feel about the genre, the community, the culture, definitely hit me up on Forever Love the Crew. The number 4, EVERLUHDA Crank. We're gonna get you on here to talk Go-Go. It's all about Go-Go. It's all about the community. For everybody that loves Go-Go, this is the space for you. So on that note, catch me in the streets, catch me in the studio, catch me online. Because if you ain't there, you ain't nowhere. I'm Hero September, and I'm out.